Here in the Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science at Penn State, we offer a selection of weather communications courses, some of which take place in front of the green screen teaching people how to present the forecast. But that's just a tiny sliver of what we do. A big part of our courses is teaching people how to communicate the science to non-scientists, and that's not always easy to do. One way we have tried to do this is by having students look at the Climate Central website and pick a topic that is of interest to them, and not only write a story based on that, but then turn it into a feature package for Weather World. And tonight we are going to show you examples from 3 students in our WeatherCom classes.
Northern California is a place to relax and unwind with its many summer vacation attractions, such as its museums, theme parks, as well as its many breathtaking botanical gardens and beaches. But what was once called a summer hotspot and a place for fun in the sun has turned into a nightmare, as most Northern Californians now dread the summer months in anticipation of wildfires.
California is no stranger to wildfires, and communities have always dealt with higher risk of fires in the summer. Although in the past 5 years, the worst wildfires on record have ravaged Northern California like never before, forcing residents to flee their homes and leave everything behind. But the big question is, why now are these fires becoming so much more frequent and destructive? The short answer is climate change. Thanks to climate change, Earth has been experiencing higher temperatures globally, which in turn is causing local climates all over California to become much more arid and dry. In response to these recent changes in climate, more fire weather watch and warning days have been issued than ever before. These are statements sent out by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, also known as NOAA, in the event of a day that is warm, windy, and dry, where widespread wildfires would be expected. When these statements are active, residents in the affected areas should prepare accordingly and be on high alert.
Today, California's local climate has become drier, resulting in an environment conducive for producing large wildfires. In the meantime, Northern California will continue to add precautionary measures to combat the blazes and issue fire weather days as needed, but these are only responses. And until emissions can truly be controlled, climate change will remain, and Northern California, as well as its many residents and vacationers, will unfortunately continue to face the heat. From the Penn State Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, I'm student meteorologist Joey Walker.
If you know a little about climate change, you may know that average temperatures have been increasing for as long as we can trace back in time, and is potentially causing a huge problem for our planet. Although this may wreak havoc to us, there can also be a positive side for this gradual increase. Today we will talk about growing degree days, or GDD, which is a measure of heat accumulation that can determine the development of plant life during the growing season. In fact, out of the 246 agricultural stations across the U.S., growing degree day numbers have increased at 97% of these stations between 1970 and 2021. Growing degree days are calculated by taking the average of the high and low temperatures of the day and subtracting that number by the base temperature for the crop that was picked. The GDD starts to rise when the average temperature is above the base temperature for the crop to grow. Any average temperature below that base temperature will have a GDD value of 0. This value is used to track and predict when crops are fully mature and ready to consume. One thing we know now is that temperature plays a big role in plant development and can benefit from more growing degree days. However, growing degree days do not account for factors such as precipitation and extreme heat. More growing degree days can lead to higher water stress in plants if there is no precipitation. Also, the GDD calculation has a maximum temperature threshold at 86 degrees, even if the daily maximum temperature is above 86 degrees, which doesn't account for potential heat stress and its effect on plant growth. In conclusion, growing degree days is a useful tool that can serve many different impactful purposes for our environment. From the Penn State Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, I'm CJ Cartledge.
Pittsburgh is one of the most livable cities in the United States due to the cost of living and healthcare, but Pittsburgh also has poor air quality, ranking in the top 10 of U.S. cities. Scientists say this is as a result of 3 factors: pollution from vehicles, industrial plants, and climate change. The city has addressed the issue of vehicle pollution with city-wide bike lanes, but climate change and industrial pollution work hand in hand with the poor air quality. Pittsburgh has experienced climate change in numerous different ways, from record-setting temperatures to more frequent and extreme precipitation that has led to frequent flash floods. Pittsburgh has seen an increase of average annual temperatures by almost 1 degree in the last 30 years. As a result of our warming temperatures, along with cooling in the atmosphere, there has been a depletion of ozone. Ozone depletion allows more UV radiation from the sun to reach the Earth's surface. This leaves the air in the atmosphere stagnant, allowing pollution to rise in the air. Scientists say that this pollution will cause holes in the ozone layer, which will accelerate global warming. One of Pittsburgh's biggest air pollutants is coke, a pure form of carbon made by heating coal. Pittsburgh is home to the largest coke manufacturing plant in the country, which produces 4.3 million tons of coke per year, making it one of the worst polluted areas in the nation. According to the Pittsburgh Climate Action Plan, the city has been making efforts in the reduction of both climate change and pollution by slowly shutting down the coke works, reducing vehicle travel and energy use, while increasing renewable energy sources. Their goal is to shut down the 3 most polluting parts of the works by 2023 and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030 and be emission-free by 2050.
This would drastically improve the air quality in the second largest city in Pennsylvania and truly make Pittsburgh one of the most livable cities in America. From the Penn State Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, I'm Michael Mornelli.